Hello everyone. Today we're here talking about ProBoat. I've got Rafael Lopez, our ProBoat product developer. My name's Toby Lewis, brand manager for ProBoat. And we're going to be talking about two new exciting boats that are that have just recently been announced. The Miss Geico 29, which is back in a new form, and the Impulse 31, which is also back. And both these boats are what we're calling the version 3 or the V3. So we want to talk about some of the differences that make the version 3 better, some of the improvements that we've done. They may look similar to the V2 product that's out there, but trust me, there's a lot of new improvements that have gone into these boats to improve the longevity and the quality of the drive and the speed. Everything is improved on these boats. So we're going to go into a little bit of detail as far as what's new. So first off, I want to talk about what does V3 mean and what are the differences that apply to both of these boats. Both of these boats have improved hull construction. We came up with a new polyester resin mix and a new thicker, stronger weave fiberglass cloth to build a better, stronger, stiffer hull. So all around, a lot better hull on both of these boats equals a stronger boat for out in the rough conditions. Again, lasts longer. The inner structure has also been improved. Both of the boats used to have a wood inner structure to house the electronics and the batteries, etc. On the Miss Geico now we have a glass infused composite plastic inner structure for the radio, the servo, the batteries, the motor, ESC, all the electronics. The Impulse is slightly different. We went with an injection molded electronics tray, also stronger, lighter, and not prone to wear out over time. So what does this mean for you, the ProBoat user? No more wood inner structure that once the fiberglass breaks down and moisture starts seeping in, it wears out. So no more of that. Both boats also have one of the most robust speed controls on the market that can handle 120 amps, a 6S power. So a lot of similar boats out on the market have an 80 amp ESC or sometimes 100. They're also 6S capable. However, running them at 6S is really maxing out the capability of that speed control, and you're going to get a lot of extra generated heat. Some of the boats on the market you actually have to modify to get better water flow. We try to incorporate some of those pro level features into the new ProBoat V3 design. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rafael, and he's going to talk about some of the individual changes on each one of these boats.
Okay. So the main change for this hull here, which is the 29-inch catamaran hull, is going to be the squared opening, which makes it easier to tape. The other thing is, of course, the internals, like Toby talked about. We've got the battery trays that are angled down inward, which lowers the center of gravity of the batteries. The placement of everything has been thought out a little bit better, so the motor's in a better position. The ESC is placed just in front of the motor. It makes it easy to access, makes it easy to remove. There's screws that hold everything down, so this tray is completely removable. It leaves the rails underneath, which are epoxied down to the hull, but it makes it very easy. The battery trays are not removable. When you buy a replacement hull, you get the battery trays included with it, minus the internal or the center tray for the electronics. There are battery straps. There's 3 per side. You can move your battery packs as far forward as underneath the canopy opening if you need to. There is a maximum of 3-cell limit battery packs that fit in here, so you can't fit a 4-cell on either side, but that's more than enough to distribute the weight very good within this hull. The back end has also been changed. You get an offset rudder now. On the back has been anodized black. You can also get a antenna, aluminum antenna mount on here as well, which before there was a plastic one that broke off fairly easily. So the other upgrade to this, as Toby mentioned, is the electronics. We're going with a 2000 kV motor. It is 6S capable. 4-cell gives you the ability to play with propeller sizes a little bit better for those that like the aftermarket propellers. But either way, the system in this is extremely powerful. My opinion is it's more powerful than we've had before. You want to talk about the Impulse?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the Impulse, we've got a new, stronger canopy design. So extremely rigid, stiff canopy design, part of the new laminating process and the fiberglass material that was used. And as you can see in here, we've got injection molded radio tray, battery tray. This is one of the largest motors on a boat this size. It's a 1750 kV 4-pole motor. So extremely powerful motor for a boat this size. Has the 120 amp ESC, and as you can see, everything's laid out very easy and nice to work on.
So the reason we have these side by side is because we wanted to show the major difference when you look at the current version of the Impulse versus the new version. As you can see, all the wood is gone. The batteries are now placed down onto the hull, which lowers the center of gravity, and as we all know, the lower center of gravity on anything typically gives better performance. There's also a Velcro strapping system, I should say hook and loop straps in these, which are similar to the ones in the Geico or the 29-inch hull blackjack as well. So no, Toby mentioned, don't have to worry about the wood soaking up water, expanding. There is really no need for the under tray, even though they do fit if you wanted to go there. But with the new latching system, the aluminum latch system on here, and it also has 2 pins in the front versus the 1 plastic pin in the current version, it makes a very good seal. There is foam that goes all the way around the opening to prevent. So if you did want to use tape on here, there is no clear coat that will come up. The decals could eventually get a little discolored with the tape, just going back and forth, but overall they will outlast the use of tape over and over again. The other main thing, we went with black anodized hardware to match the rest of the Pro Boat model that we have out right now, the Blackjack and this version of the Geico. The hardware is interchangeable as far as the offset of the rudder. So the brackets are individual to each one of the boats, but overall we've made it easier to where if you need to replace your rudder or your offset, you can use either one across the board there. They're not specific to each one. The major difference is that this used to have a rubber grommet in there for the antenna tube. We've now have an aluminum one as well, just like the Geico. The other major difference for the Impulse, and which one that I'm happiest the most, is the difference in motor size. So this is our typical 36 by 68 motor. Now we're going with a 40 millimeter motor, and as you can see, there's a huge difference in length and diameter. Wire gauge stays the same. They do both use 5 millimeter bullets. This is the one for the Geico, and this is the one that's coming in the Impulse. Now this is, I do consider this an upgrade for the 29-inch hull. You will notice a lot better performance overall, especially if you're running 6S. This will turn this boat into a powerhouse, possibly a little overpowering, but the ESC will handle both motors in either one of the boats.
Now we've been able to get over 45 miles an hour, just over 45 miles an hour consistently with both of these boats. Explain to us a little bit why we need the larger boat, or I'm sorry, the larger motor in the Impulse to achieve the same speed as the catamaran boat.
So the reason is catamarans are hydro, so they skim across the water, similar to skipping a rock. You skip it across, the flatter the surface on the rock, the further it's going to go with least amount of effort. The V-bottom, on the other hand, it's cutting through the water, it's displacing the water, pushing it outward. We found during testing that even though this 6-pole motor does create quite a bit of power, it lacked performance in the V-bottom because of the higher kV, spinning more revolutions. I felt, and through testing, we found out that the 1750 kV 4-pole actually created a better performance within this boat than the 2000 kV system. Now the 4-pole motor does create more revolutions than the 6-pole. 6-pole is going to generate more torque, which is great if you want to throw a bigger propeller or play with propellers in the catamaran, which requires less amperage than what would be required by the V-bottom. But overall, this motor still leaves more than enough amperage within the 120 rated speed control to play around with propellers and get this upwards of even 50 miles an hour with some good quality batteries and a good propeller, that would be an option for this boat.
So you'd say each one of these hull designs is really optimized around that motor, or
Yeah.
the motor's optimized
The
for
motor
the
is
hull.
optimized for the hull, and that's the direction that ProBoat is moving now, to where we're doing our homework and we're doing more research. We're doing amp load tests for all of the boats coming out now. We're making sure that each motor is specifically tailored for that hull and is going to provide the customer with the performance that they expect out of these boats, and the longevity of the electronics is also going to be tested to make sure that we're putting out products that have electronics that will withstand most of what boaters will do. There is obviously nothing we can do about overpropping or overspinning the motors, but for the most part, if you use them as intended, you'll have a lot of fun for a long time.
Great, thanks, Raphael. I hope this has given you a lot of good information about and helped you understand the differences between the version 2 and the version 3, and hope to see you out there on the lake.